Alrighty, pod racing fans, welcome back to another race in this year's 25th anniversary tournament. The Galactic Circuit is back. We are bringing you a match from the lower bracket. These players are both in winner's side still. This is Lilac Dryad versus Paige. I am Nock. I'm joined here by Game Draco.
Hello, and we are starting off celebrating the 25th anniversary of the game by doing the classic gentleman's agreement of Sebulba versus Anakin on Bunta Classic.
The countdown has been given, so we should see the racers starting in the next 20 seconds or so. At least, I hope this isn't Lilac Dryad's real start.
I don't think it is.
It better not be, now that she's paused. This should be an interesting match. Lilac Dryad, a total newcomer, but from what I understand has some spicy picks prepared, whereas Paige is a veteran of the tournament, has played many years past. This looks like the real start for Paige. Lilac Dryad starting just 11 seconds behind. I'll get the sync pause in.
Yeah. Oh, it's a really bad start. That's really bad. That's going to cost a ton of time.
Yeah, missing the boost there. Oh, but Paige crashes.
So,
okay, there's the sync pause. We'll see about how close they are. The crash versus that boost loss. Lilac may actually be ahead here.
Yeah, she is slightly ahead, but has more damage.
Now, Anakin, I believe, does have a fairly significant advantage over Sebulba, who is the slowest pod in the game, thanks to his incredibly bad boost thrust. And another crash for Paige!
Oh, man!
Lilac is probably about 6 seconds ahead at this point.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, these star pods of the movie in Anakin Sebulba are two of the worst pods in the whole game.
Yeah, we are sort of comparing two real stinkers here, but Anakin's boost is at least a little better. Big bonk.
Not much. Not much. Anakin is 200 and Sebulba is 185.
A third crash for Paige. This is very uncharacteristic, I would say.
Yeah.
A lot closer of a first track than I think we may have been fearing, given the relative experience levels between these runners. Lilac has a real chance to win this one, I feel.
So sure, this is a track that can kill you at any point, and we still have 2 more laps to go.
It's true, and with how slow these pods are, this is going to be probably close to 7 minutes. Lilac on pace for about a 6:15 if she keeps this up.
Paige with a 2:14.51.
Lilac about 9 seconds ahead right now, which does mean Paige is making up significant time between crashes. With 3 crashes versus 0, you'd expect like closer to 15 seconds different.
Yeah. Oh, into the warning.
Kane.
She's pretty damaged.
This is maybe one saving grace for Anakin. His repair stat seems to be pretty good, but that was a dicey chicane.
Yeah.
4th death for Paige. Oh, just clips that pillar. Oh.
Into the warning. Oh my god, flashing red on all the engine.
At this point, it would be faster for Lilac to just crash, and she goes for it.
Man, I haven't seen that much damage on a pod in a long time.
It's pretty impressive to survive that long.
Yeah.
And
you're in warning. If you don't fix it within 5 seconds, you'll blow up for certain. And if you try boosting while in the warning, you'll blow up for certain.
Yep, and that whole sequence, trying to repair, slowing down, grinding the wall, Paige has made up significant time here. Oh, big bonk for Lilac. Dips down really slow, not able to use much boost here. Paige is hot on her heels. It's
Yeah,
like the exact opposite of the movie.
for sure.
And we'll see how much time Paige made up as these lap 2 finishes come in. So 207 for
207,
Lilac.
203.
Okay, so Paige makes up about 4 seconds there. It looked like a lot more than that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that puts Paige still about 6 seconds behind, which means all she really needs is one crash out of Lilac. We're
And
already in the
Lilac's
red.
taking some major damage, forced off the service ramp.
It's close to maybe a 2-second lead for Lilac now. What a dramatic first race.
Ooh, Paige slows down considerably. Oh, that
Oh,
probably is what Dick gonna do it.
ah,
Paige has
and
this
Paige
time.
makes it clean.
Paige makes it clean. Paige is now starting to eke out a lead.
And you can see Paige there using Sebulba's longer boost to cut that turn there. Saves quite a bit of time, even though she does take some slow terrain.
And also, Soboba has a much longer booster than Anakin.
What did Lilac even hit? I didn't see it. Oh, and
Whoa! And
Paige was off the track!
Paige crashes into it.
It's all going to come down to how much boost Lilac Dryad is able to use in this last section. Whether either of them takes a shot from these Tusken Raiders here. Once Paige gets through this area,
Oh,
there's not
catches
much more
fire!
to try.
But she repairs it very quickly. Lilac catches fire too, also repairs it very quickly.
Oh,
Send
and
in the
right
jumpers, we've got Scrap. He crashes into the sand crawler.
and that's what you feel it. Paige is basically out of ways to crash and is right on the back straight.
Okay, Paige is home free. Paige is gonna take this first race.
What an entertaining race one. That first lap from Paige, so disastrous with all those crashes, but then comes back with two 203s back to back to bring it right back. Just waiting for the runners to submit results here. Lilac had a bit of an issue. The game loves to just only show your time for like one frame. Good old game. So if it's not a PB, sometimes you can miss it. We'll get that resolved. I believe she came in with a 627. Then yeah, like I said, once we get the racers to submit their times and get them verified, we will, of course, go into the permaban phase, where each racer will have a chance to ban 2 tracks, which will not appear in the race at all. Both runners should have some idea of, what track they don't want to play, where they think their opponent might be good. This is their chance to get rid of those tracks and never have to worry about them. And looking at Paige's time submission here, she says, literally every death was a place I didn't die in warm-ups. That's just how tournament is. Alright, should be seeing first perma ban coming in from Lilac in just a second here. From Lilac, I would expect her to be banning sort of longer, harder courses.
Lilac's first ban is put to training.
Okay, foot in my mouth, but that makes sense. Boon to Training course, arguably Paige's best course. She's quite strong there. Paige actually infamously never gets to play Boon to Training in tournament.
Bumpy's Breakers ban from Paige.
I like it. That is both a skip track where Lilac could easily win, and also just a very difficult track where Paige could easily take crashes.
Saboba's Legacy ban from Lilac.
Interesting. This is another track I believe Paige likes quite a bit, and it is a track so short and so brutal that any sort of mistake you can't really come back from. Dom, we've banned Bunta Training Course, Bumpy's Breakers, and Sebulba's Legacy.
Paige coming in with a Scrapper's Run ban.
That's our final perma ban. I like this from Paige. It's just a kind of simpler track that Lilac could have learned in the time that she had, um, but is still a place where you can easily make a mistake and crash.
Lilac banning Saboba. What is going to be Paige's permaban? Not temp ban, I meant to say.
Sebulba, just a throwaway ban there. Sounds like we'll probably be doing meta on something.
Ravine Gateway ban from Paige, it looks like.
I respect it, though I don't think either player is really going to want to go to Grapevine.
Malistar 100. We're seeing Malistar 100 with Dudbolt. Now, of all the track favorites, Dudbolt is probably one of the most rotten track favorites for his favorite track because this track is defined by a single 180 hairpin, and Dudbolt has the worst turn rate and one of the lowest turn responses of any pod in the game.
Yeah, and that hairpin is infamous for causing crashes. If you touch the red wall behind it, you're basically guaranteed to explode, and Dud is basically guaranteed to touch that red wall.
Yeah, he lives up to his name. He's a dud of a pod.
Absolutely. Now, I have a little bit of inside knowledge because I've seen Lilac practicing this course. She's surprisingly solid here. Don't let that Bunta Classic fool you. She's gotten pretty consistent on this track, is able to use a lot of heat. So I think if she has a chance, I think that this track is it. Though Paige did say before the match she was not very worried about any track favorite forces, as she's done a few runs of the game doing just all tracks in a row with their track favorites. So it's possible that she was prepared for this and knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Lilac saying she's got a bit of lag on her end. Let's see if we can resolve that, or if we need to do a quick pause with the countdown here. All right, sounds like we're gonna pause the countdown for just a moment while we figure out whatever technical issues going on. This game can play kind of poorly with OBS. It's a 25-year-old game. Lots of odd issues can happen, especially when you're trying to stream.
Yeah, particularly at the PC version.
The PC version is weirdly unstable. Okay, so apparently the abort countdown option does not abort the countdown, which is kind of funny. Botto counting down and Lightning Pirate saying ignore. Just waiting for... Okay, lightning seems to have resolved it. Looks like players will both have to ready up again, and then I don't know if Botto is going to automatically start the countdown later, or if I'm just wait a little bit longer. Unclear. Apologies about the technical difficulties, everybody. Again, it's 25-year-old game.
Yeah. And also about Star 100 is that this also is based on a real-life racetrack, Sonoma Raceway.
Though one imagines it doesn't have the little jump right before the hairpin at the end.
Yeah,
Much
it
as
does not have that.
I would pay a lot of money to see like F1 cars going over a jump like that, but no, we've broken poor Botto. Botto doesn't know how to handle restarting a race when the track favorite is forced. We'll get this resolved in a second. Lightning is in the chat, presumably frantically going.
Oh no.
Okay. Looks like everything might be good. Countdown has been given. I am unsure if this is
Okay,
Paige
it
or
looks like
Kristen.
we're good to go.
That looks like the... No, I'm lied to. Maybe? Maybe? Okay,
This
it should
looks
be the
like
rest.
it. What can I say? This is like one of the worst track favorites for any track.
It should be an interesting one, that's for sure. Lilac getting a little bit long to the boost there, underheating slightly. Paige looks about a second or two ahead just from lines.
Yeah, we have about a 1.5 to 2 second difference between the two streams. Yeah. Paige is... Whoa! Whoa!
Really
This is what I mean.
slow.
Paige is about a second and a half, 1.4 seconds ahead.
A little amazed she survived that. Lilac had to brake really hard in that hairpin. So actually, I think Paige's lead will probably expand just from that even further than what we saw, as she'll be...
Oh!
Why do I talk? Draco, why do I say things? Oh.
Paige now in the lead, but she hold it through this hairpin. She's been taking a lot safer than Paige.
See what the lap
Paige!
times are.
Oh
no!
Crossing the hairpin!
That's a huge lead for Lilac Dryad. Yeah, made up over 8 seconds on that lap, so it should be about, what, 6.5 seconds different now? And I don't know if Paige has enough track to come back.
It all comes down to this final jump and hairpin.
I like going right or left side to cool down a little. Oh, don't crash.
Oh, she was so lucky. Like 1 frame later and she would have crashed.
I cannot believe she survived that.
And Lilac takes this.
There it is, a track for Lilac Dryad, taking one off of Paige. And Lilac says in chat, with that win, I have met my goal for tonight's match. Yeah, no small feat taking a track off of Paige. Much more experienced runner.
As also the favorite to win the lower bracket.
All right, Paige temp
We
bans
have Wan Sanch coming in and a Doug Derby ban coming from Lilac.
We'll see where Paige wants to go. I'm kind of expecting her to just pick a meta track here with Ben, but we'll see.
Executioner.
Yeah, and no force, so just a Ben mirror on what is one of Paige's favorite tracks. For reference, Paige's best time in tourney here, according to Botto, is a 355.6. I don't know what Lilac Dryad's PB is here. I know she has played this course and practiced it a little bit in prep for Paige to pick it. Both players seem to be in good spirits, so mental game should be holding strong. I think Paige taking that loss in stride. Sometimes this game just does it to you, no matter what course. Except for like maybe Bunta Training, a couple of the other sort of easy straight courses. You can really crash anywhere in this game. It's so quick, and if you're trying to push for tourney on a pod that you're not really familiar with.
And it's not unusual for even the skilled players to crash in tourney. This game is so hard to run.
Oh, absolutely. Only a few players have a crash per race stat of less than 1. And those are the players who we talk about being scarily consistent, right? Metallica, Mikey Berger. There's a reason that they do so well at this. At some point, it's hard to just break yourself out of the habit of doing the really optimal lines, right? When you're normally practicing this game, you're sort of pushing yourself, trying to get personal bests. Whereas in tourney, it often pays off a lot more to just take a slightly wider line, do something safer, more consistent. See how Lilac Paige look in warm-ups here. Paige looks very comfortable using a ton of heat, entering this tube on very high heat. Both know the route.
And we see a little bit of the gauntlet from Lilac as she goes into the tunnel.
It's a bold strategy, but it looks like it paid off.
Not really. She crashed in the tube.
Well, at least she didn't crash on the entry, which is, I think, what she was trying to avoid there.
I'd like to say that tube of an executioner is where the track earns its name of executioner.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that... I don't know how that got through QA testing, but yeah, if you try to enter that tube normally, you're almost guaranteed to explode.
And it's even harder at really low frame rates like the 64 because when you tilt in the tubes at low frame rates, it's practically certain death because you just lose control as soon as you tilt and spin.
Alright, I think this may be the real start. The countdown did go off about 20 seconds ago.
Yep.
Although, I mean, now that I say that, Paige is probably just going to pause and restart. No, this is the real start.
About a 17 and a half second difference, or 18.
There's the sync pause. You should see where the runners are in relation to each other. It looks like Paige should be quite ahead. He used a lot more heat through the first sections of track. Yeah, you can see their lilac not quite to the end of the red carpet. Paige with a good entry.
Uh-oh!
Definitely gonna crash. Ugh, unfortunate. Seems a little bit shaky on that jump entry.
Ooh, that could have been a death coming when you come in upside down.
Yeah, that's the other execution on this track. If you exit that tube on the wrong orientation, it'll just slam you into the ground.
Particularly if you're upside down.
Yeah, on Paige now.
Usually Here we go, a 118. Low 118 for Paige.
Fairly solid first lap. Bell, this is Paige's pick.
Oh no!
Unfortunate. Kind of a rare crash there. It really is looking like Lilac knows the strats, knows where to go, but just doesn't have quite the amount of practice on this track. Paige, on the other hand, I mean, you can tell this is one of her favorite and best courses. She's got the heat usage down to just barely not underheat in that tunnel, using all of the fast terrain available to her.
Uh-oh! Into the red, doing the brakes. Yikes!
Yeah,
and crashes in the tube!
Brutal. And Paige now, I mean, if lap 1 didn't do it, this is a fairly insurmountable lead. Another low 118.
Well, I'm amazed Paige survived that.
Once again, just barely not underheating. Really good heat usage for Paige throughout this whole track. It's these consistent strategies down really well. Coming into the final tube entrance for Paige. Very easy, clean entrance. Actually, I'm amazed
Paige survived that.
Yeah, that looked bad. I was worried. But at this point, there should be basically no more places for Paige to crash. This final tube, don't let that monster fool you. It can't do anything to you.
And Lilac crashes in the tube again. I think we have a new turning record for Paige coming in. That's a new PB, new turning record for her. 3:53.52. That's 2 seconds faster than her previous PB at 3:55.
Really solid run for Paige there. She looked very comfortable.
3:53.516.
Yes, to be clear, the tourney record for Executioner full track is actually by Goofbrush. It's a 3:48. Which really goes to show you how much room there is in this game, depending on how experienced you are, how much you've pushed a track. Even, Paige's pace there looks incredible, and then you look and Goofbrush is like, casually 5 seconds faster.
Yeah, the next band's coming in. We have Elon Mac Band from Lilac.
I wonder if that's... Well, the only skip that you would use Elan for has already been banned, so I don't know if that's really a mind game.
Aqualaris Classic. Okay, we're getting a interesting track favorite. Inferno as Ben, who is optimal here.
So, what a funny pick. I guess this prevents Paige from picking a safer pod. Conceivably, Paige could think that she's got good enough pace here that she could just pick Bullseye and beat Lilac. So maybe this does something. What a pick. We'll see how this goes. Paige, her attorney PB here is a 256 with 3 crashes. I don't know if she doesn't play this track very much or just hasn't been here very often, but potentially a little shaky on this course. We'll see what kind of times Lilac can put up when we get into warm-ups here.
Certainly an odd pick.
I think this pick was solely to get a laugh out of the audience. I know this looks like it was the real start, but I swear it wasn't. The countdown seemed like it. They were just so in sync. Lilac has the path, but having a little difficulty using boost here. Inferno, obviously a notoriously brutal track, very twisty, despite how short it is.
And you have to avoid falling into the lava, which will heat you up and catch you on fire if you stay over it too long.
And it slows you down too for good measure. It's by far the worst terrain in the game.
And you only see it on Inferno and Fire Mountain Rally.
We saw about a 1-minute flat lap for Lilac there. It said new lap record, which I assume is real. So Lilac will be relying on Paige to make some pretty considerable mistakes, it seems like.
It also looks like Paige. Oh!
Yeah, this looks like it should be the real start coming in just a second. Alright, Paige is off. Lilac just behind. Paige missing the boost coming around that hairpin there. Get the sync pause in here. See about where we're sitting.
Paige is far ahead. Paige is about a few lengths ahead.
Yeah, maybe a good 2 seconds or so. Once again, just able to use a lot more boost here Taking the safer route around this rock, Lilac opts to as well. Going left there is a little faster, but
Falls
oh
into the
geez,
lava!
not that bad, all things considered. Falling into the lava
Not bad at
quickly.
all. She was able to salvage it quite good, and Lilac crashes!
See what Lilac's lap time is. Paige putting up a 54:17, I think.
Yeah, Paige is Lilac is 9 seconds behind with a 103. I thought Paige was going to catch fire there.
Well, this would be the track for it. I'd really like to see Lilac using more boost on these sort of straighter sections. You really have to use your heat where you can on this track. Bump, but
Also
no crash.
oh no!
Wow, why do
Also
I think?
very hard to use. Very hard to use Ben's boost on this track when he's so boundarous. You have better luck with a more agile pod like Bullseye or Mars.
And the third crash for Lilac there, very behind now. Paige has put up an incredibly clean race. I don't think we've seen a crash out of her yet.
Oh, catches fire! Manages to repair it.
And thankfully was in a sort of twisty section, so wasn't losing much in the way of boost time, just a little speed. This looks like it's going to be a really very solid time for Paige.
Oh, that's a much faster PB.
Oh, and another death for Lilac, right as Paige crosses the finish line. It was a bold pick. I see the spirit. I like it. Very funny track favorite for us. Yeah, time and again, Lilac just unable to get these boosts. Seems to sort of know what's going on. It's just a little bit faster on the trigger or a little bit tighter on the lines. 311 for Lilac.
Okay.
All right, Paige leads 3-1. Lilac's pick again. We'll see what the temp ban is. She has one more force left. Lilac deep in the tank. Banning Bull's Roar.
Endo Prime Centrum ban, it looks like.
Oh, and we're going to Mongaza Speedway. Interesting. Typically, when you see these matches between a much more experienced and much less experienced runner, Mongaza Speedway is right up there on top of the permabans because even if the skill gap or experience gap is quite wide, one crash here and you just can't bring it back. We'll see if Lilac can take a second track off of Paige with this. Though I would expect Paige to know that she should just be playing kind of safe, see what's up, and hope that her consistent strat beats Lilac's more aggressive. Dom saying he wants to play Mongaza. The problem, Dom, is that we can't let you go anywhere. You'll just win. Paige taking this pretty safe. Well, at least in warm-ups. And why am I going inside of the pillar? Now this track, I mean, every track to an extent comes down to how much boost you can use, but this track in particular, the times are really separated by how much boost you can use while still taking reasonable lines. You can fire finish on this track and use all of your heat, but it's very, very difficult. Okay, this time Lilac is taking the more optimal path.
So she's not using enough boost to make use of it.
Yeah, as I said, using boost on this track really difficult, and I think that's where we're going to see Paige get all of her advantage.
Especially difficult to use boost with Ben on this track when he's so stiff.
Yeah, you really have to know how to set yourself up for these turns. Paige there, it looks like she's even taking pretty conservative lines, able to put up a pretty good pace.
And Lilac already with a crash, or are we restarting? I'm not so sure. We still. Oh, this is such a short track. You get tons of warm ups in.
I don't think this is Paige's real race. There's no way she's like 40 seconds ahead. But... Yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go.
Oh, I was worried for a second there.
I was too.
Well, there's maybe another 10-second sync pause, but that's almost half the race.
Real. .14.5 second.
You're very solid first lap for Paige. So Lilac's is 16.1. See, oh, crash right as the pause undoes. Paige with a 12.6 on the second lap.
.34 for Paige. Match point for her.
Yeah, really solid time, especially it looked like Paige was playing pretty conservative. It seemed like she had a lot more in the tank there if she wanted it. I like the pick for Lilac, but I think getting caught a little bit by Paige being sort of an amateur circuit specialist.
Yes.
Alright, the temp ban is Ben. Lilac does have one force remaining. This is her last chance to use it. See what Paige goes for. We have definitely had bingo cards in previous years. I've definitely seen these floating around. It may have been before your time there, Ram. Paige seems pretty deep in the tank, thinking about what track to temp ban here. Has she banned Ando Prime Centrum every time? I think she has. Maybe thrown off by the bend ban? We lost Paige. Okay, there she is. Banning Abyss. And there
Gauntlet
goes Lilac.
skips.
Gauntlet skips with Ben banned. Ben technically fastest here. Pretty sketchy to use. Though Mikey has a 226 here with Ben. Uh, the next fastest, or at least the pod that I expect both racers to use here would be Mars Guo, easily the safest pick for this skip. At the correct frame rate, it's pretty hard for him to ever fail it. Though, of course, now that I say that, Gauntlet has kind of a reputation in tournament for causing dramatic finishes, let's say.
Yeah, it's a very volatile track on skips.
Yeah, both if you fall off when you're trying to do the wall ride to get the skip, you can get caught in a pretty nasty loop for a while, and then you can soft lock in the final tube. Especially Mars is a very beefy pod, quite easy to tap a rock and crash. And Dom, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to get your wish. I think that is a 60 in the top corner of Lilac's screen.
Yeah, that is a 60.
Paige is on 48, which is sort of the recommended frame rate.
Yep, Paige is at 48.
Yeah, 60, you're just so stiff in the tunnel, it's really difficult to avoid any of the rocks.
And has the maximum opportunity to stop lock.
Yes. So Lilac does crash, but knows to do the sort of safety strategy of flying over the spline, which means if you do void out and crash like that, you'll respawn having completed the skip. It just takes the time for the crash, essentially. Paige looks a little shaky getting onto the wall there. Let's hope she can clean that up. Do note that runners have slightly more time to prepare and warm up for skips just because they do require specific pods and frame rates. Kind of weird driving. Able to stick on the wall this time, doing kind of a dramatic looking jump. When Lilac crashing here in warm-up. Both of them look a little shaky in the tube. This should be an interesting one.
No! Tilting! You spin in the tubes. Oh, that is so scary. Uh-oh. Good. That's one of the rocks you can easily stop block on.
Yeah, it's a really nasty setup. At 60 frames per second, the rock you're most likely to crash on sets you up perfectly to softlock in the rock you are most likely to softlock in. Oh, did I say soft rock? Alright, just waiting for the race to start. Once again, this is match point for Paige, so this could be our final race of the day. This looks like Paige's real start. Lilac should be in just a second.
Whoa! Really going janky on the tubes there for Paige.
Yeah, that tube, I don't know, it's weird. Just start bouncing really fast, and I don't know where the sync buzzer is. I did put it in, but...
Uh-oh, I don't think Lilac's going to have enough momentum. Or she gets it barely.
Oh, just misses. But, I mean, this is a
Respawns.
we're not going to be able to call this until lap 3 once somebody crosses the finish line. There's so many ways to be able to skip. Paige could soft lock here, you never know. No, avoids it. Luckily. I cannot believe Lilac survived that.
Same here.
A little behind is Lilac, even though I believe she did not take a crash on the first lap. Mostly, once again, just comes down to heat usage. Paige able to boost a lot more here. We'll see, does Paige... It's dicey, but she gets it. She flies over, so no chance of failing. Crash, avoids out. Comes Lilac's approach. Oh, and Lilac's gonna fail to skip.
No!
Didn't quite get over the spline. Let's hope she flies a little safer this time. Okay, gets it. Alright, that'll put Paige at a pretty large lead here. Lilac actually boosting a little through the tube, getting kind of brave.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, uh-oh. You can softlock crashing like that. But manages not to. Alright. Last skip for Paige. Let's see. Looks like she will get over. Oh. Just barely misses the track there.
That has got to be one of the odder ways I've seen that recovery.
Alright. And Paige gets right past the rocks. Should be a
Paige has this.
For her. Yeah, sort of an unfortunate lap 2 for Lilac, and then Paige just using a lot more boost.
Yeah. Paige.
Oh, and there it is! Oh, of course. Just to finish it off. The exact
She was losing anyway. Knows how to boost out, did the alt tab in the rage. Look back and crashing out of the exit.
What a dramatic way to end the match. And we'll get runners-up for newbies in a second. Adraxis, Lilac took an M100 track favorite. Welcome, runners.
Hello. Hey.
Congratulations on your win there, Paige. That was a very dramatic, really fun race to watch.
Yeah, As soon as I hit lap 3, I was just, I should go for a lap record, and then immediately just hit 2 walls on Gauntlet.
Oh my gosh.
To be fair, my lap record there is actually pretty good for that old skip.
Okay.
Now, what I really want to hear about is going all the way back to the start of the match. I want to know what's going on in your mind, Paige, on that Bunta Classic, because that was a rocky ride.
Oh, the entire time I was just, well, if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. Whatever, we're in the middle of the run.
Fair enough.
Like-
Good way to keep the mental.
Yeah, like once it says go, you kind of just have to take what happens,
Yeah, 100% there.
and that is probably the single biggest skill to learn in competing in anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Once the mental game starts to go, it's bad.
I felt good about my first 2 laps in Bunta Eve Classic, and my last lap, the nerves just got to me. And I just watched the crashes rack up, and I was like, okay, that's that.
Yeah, I mean,
Ugh.
how many times did you die in Bunta Classic? Because for
4.
me it was 6.
Oh my gosh.
And literally every one of those was a place I didn't die in my warm-ups.
Yeah, the first lap, I might have had 1 death, if any. The
Mhm.
second lap, I had 1 death between the first 2 laps, and then we got to lap 3, and I hit all of the bad spots for me, and I was just like, okay, dang it.
Because a deathless run on that for me is a 550 with Sebulba right now.
Yeah, and fun fact, after my last match against Magius, realized that my turning sensitivity was all the way down. So I've been relearning how to play this game with full turning range.
Yeah.
I would
My
have needed
issue-
the PB to beat you on Bunta E, but I think I was on PB pace up until that last
Mhm.
lap.
My issue has been I've had 0 time to practice.
Oh. Well, you were certainly doing good so far. I'm just happy that I managed to knock 1 off of you. I didn't get shut out completely, and I will take that.
Yeah, the funny part is I've practiced Dud Bolt there because I've practiced every track favorite. Not
Yeah.
because of the tournament, but just over the last 5 years I've been playing this game, I just like doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? See, why is this the track favorite? Is this a good choice?
None of them. There's a couple that make some sense, like Anakin being FMR, right? Or GP.
Anakin's Grabvine Gateway.
Grabvine. Eve is FMR. Or EV.
Yeah, and if you
And most
squint,
of
it
them
does
make
make sense.
I mean, to be fair, most of them it should be Ben on everything except for Grabline and FMR.
Yeah,
which
I'm not talking about
but-
is the track favorite the best pod you can pick for that track.
Yes.
I'm talking about is the track favorite a decent pick for that track. So like, all the Barunda picks, yeah. He's like a challenge, sure. Bowls is fast and you don't need turning. But then you get to Malistaire 100. Dud Bolt is arguably the worst turning pod in the game.
With that killer hairpin at the end.
Honestly,
I'll be
I'm
honest. Oh, go ahead.
just sad I never got an opportunity. I have some mean things planned for lower bracket.
Yeah, I was hoping I'd get to see some of them today, but oh well.
Oh no,
Don't worry.
I'm saving it to bully you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you are.
Ugh. I
Yeah,
should
that
have
turned
died
out-
times in the Malistaire 100 track. There were a couple of bumps. It's like, why am I alive?
Dud
There
Bolt does
were-
have, I think, the best durability in the game for impacts.
Hmm.
I think his decel interval is the best in the game.
I believe Sebulba has the best decel and the most rugged is Bumpy.
That might be right, but I think Dud is pretty good on both.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's good on both.
Yeah, it seems like you're able to take that hairpin pretty aggressively and just hit the opposite wall, and it usually doesn't do anything to you.
Yeah.
some very surprisingly close dramatic races there. Lilac, if you do go to watch it back, you were actually ahead over 10 seconds off Uta Classic coming out of lap 1.
Oh,
An incredibly dramatic race, watching Paige just slowly claw back, catching up to you over the course of the race until finally it was the Canyon Dune turn on the last lap where she passed you.
yeah, it was. I hit my third death, and I just went, okay, the nerves are shot. I'm just going to finish this race because I cannot. I need to get out of here. I just gotta go.
Oh, after those first two, my mental was all kinds of shot. That's why I picked. Okay, this is one of the somewhat mean tracks, is Executioner.
Oh, I do not blame you. Oh my gosh, I do not know Executioner well.
That is a track I picked specifically so I could just lock the hell in.
Yeah, no, good choice. Good choice.
And I went deathless on those 3 middle races.
I did not.
Yeah, locked in is a good word for it. You looked very calm and consistent on that Executioner pick.
Yeah, I mean, it was also I was driving relatively conservatively there. I finished about a second and a half back of my PB, I think.
Oh, nice.
It's like, this is going to sound mean, but I figured if I don't need to go super hard, I'm not going to go super hard.
Oh, no, it's not, right? I am near the bottom of this bracket. Hence, I'm just happy I got that one.
Yeah. And that one was a very smart pick.
Thanks.
Because when I saw Malisar 100, my first thought was, you're taking me to my second best track? And then I saw Dud Bolt, and it's just, oh, you're taking me to my second best track. Because I've put so much time into that on specifically Ben, that is one of the harder tracks. That was one of the harder tracks to adapt to on the fly.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why I like this particular force for this tourney. I was in last year's tourney, but I like that we have this option because it does force you to adapt on the fly.
Yeah. I will say the Ben on Inferno is just objectively not a great pick. He's the meta there at high levels.
That's fair. I was looking at the our full leaderboard and saw that your best time was who is it?
Bullseye.
Bullseye, yeah. And so I was hoping that it might throw you off a little. It did not, as a matter of fact.
No, actually, I didn't PB there, did I?
I have no idea.
It was certainly much better than your tourney PB.
Yeah. 232. No, I did not, I don't think. It was like a 236.
But if nothing else, it was fun. Once I got the one, I was like, all right, I don't care what happens. I meet my goal. Let's have fun with it.
Which is the way to do it.
Like, especially after Boon to Eve, I was just like so shaken up. Got the one. I was like, okay, we're good. That's it.
Yeah, it's... I like saying there's no really wrong approach until you hit the super top level. It's whatever traction setups you're most comfortable with, whatever tracks you're most comfortable with. As long as you're playing a viable pod and you're forcing your opponent into a similar situation, you've got a shot.
Exactly. Oh. So I am knocked down into losers now, where I will be taking on the winner of Bell and Shorty.
That looks like it, yep. Which will be the match tomorrow.
Or... So you'll know immediately.
Yeah, I will know after tomorrow.
Yep. Meanwhile, winners...
Semi, you'll be facing Knock.
Or winners semis is facing... It's me and Knock.
It always has to happen, right? It seems like every year.
Yeah, every year.
This year is gonna be mine, darn it. Probably not, because I don't have time to practice either, but... It'll be a fun race anyway. I'm looking forward to it. I always enjoy our matches.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. We both always pull out some really funny stuff.
I mean, we have to. It's Like,
It's
you
tradition at
are
this point.
clearly favored, but it's at the point where, like, yeah, I could take tracks off of you like, if I do something strange, so I have to do something strange.
Yeah. And I mean, I Destroyer of a looking Twitch chat.
Alright, I think if that is everything, we can say GG's again. Congratulations, Paige, on your win there. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Lilac, taking your goal of 1 track.
Thanks. Yeah, GG's Paige. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That wasn't fun when you really did catch me off guard.
I needed to get it.
I did see the Gauntlet tips pick coming. I knew you had talked about it in Discord at some point in the recent past.
Yes. I was hoping to do Bumpy skips and bring you there, but I did not get any consistency with Bumpy. So
Bumpy's is a very hard skip.
yes, it is.
Well, I shouldn't say necessarily very hard. It's decently easy to get right a couple of times, but consistency on it is a tricky one to learn.
Exactly.
Alright, and real quick before we sign off here, it looks like our next match will be on the main channel, SpeedGaming, tomorrow at midnight Eastern Time. A nice late night match for those of you on the East Coast. So we'll hope to see you then. GG's again, runners. Thank you for the incredibly fun match. Draco, thank you for the commentary. And thanks as always to SpeedGaming for letting us use their service. We'll
Here, everyone.
Be with you all.
Yep.
Sign offs
Good luck,
are always
everyone.
awkward. Bye.
have a good night, everyone.
Be with
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Goodbye, all.